And what a conversation. Daniel Datse having that interaction with the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, in the Joy Super Morning Show studios, Joy 99.7 FM. And, well, you can see that other related issues had come up just recently. We also had all the issues about the $1 million sanction that he had sanctioned the finance minister, and the senior minister subsequently were told Yao Safumafu had given some reactions to the Auditor General in the meantime. But for all the related things that we have to talk about, I thought one of the key pointers was how Martin Amidu, the special prosecutor, would be given the leeway and the opportunity to be able to do his work. But it's also because if he has the needed facilities, he should be able to do the work for which he had been appointed. But has he been given the opportunity? Has he got the budget that he's expected to access funding from to run that office? And those are some of the key issues that are being raised by the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, in that conversation. And just over the last 12 hours, you also do know that there were the issues of the GMPC and its own expenditure on branding and corporate social responsibility. And Daniel Dadze asked that question and posed that question to the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo, who says that if they have to audit the GMPC, they will get to know how some of those funds were used and whether appropriately they were expected to use in a more judicious way or not. But we have to look at these related issues concretely. And just in case you're also watching live on the channel, you can also get interactive Facebook, Joy News and TV, and let us know what you also think through our Twitter handle. But you can also get more. Joy 997 is always on Facebook and Twitter and the relevant social media platforms that we have running right here through Joy News, Joy 99.7 FM as well. We'll return back to the studios. We'll give you the latest update as it is because the Auditor General is also ready. And after the return from the break, we know that his submissions will be more thorough.
We keep doing. But you notice that at the start of this year, I issued a report. So when this year comes to an end, I'll issue another report to bring to the public notice the number of surcharges that we have issued. And the retrieval of the money also, it comes in from time to time. And I will also publish that. So to be honest with you, I don't have it on top of my head as to how much has been collected and how much surcharge has been done this year.
Okay. But there are retrievals coming in as we speak.
Yes, it's trickling in. There are some, in fact, the good news is that many of the people, when they receive the notice of intention to disallow and surcharge, they just go and pay the money and bring receipt to show that the money has been paid. Or if they are supposed to acquit the expenditure, when we say acquittal, we are referring to providing the evidence that is required that the money was actually spent for the intended purpose. If they do that, then it also goes off. So it is having impact.
So we are issuing disallowances and surcharges. Can I ask, what's the effect that the Supreme Court's decision in Occupy Ghana v. Attorney General has had on your work?
I think it has checked the impunity to some extent. Honestly speaking, my staff, who I salute always, will tell you that the attitude towards auditors have changed over the past years. Some never even cared to respond to audit observations. Some will not even make themselves available for the audit to start. But these days, that behavior has changed because of the lack of or the no tolerance approach that we have put in place. So it has significantly imparted on us. The only thing which has so far not happened, if you remember the judgment given by the Supreme Court in Occupy Ghana versus Attorney General, after giving me directions or directives that what you call consequential orders, that I should collect the money and surcharge, etc. The last consequential order went to the Attorney General that she should take steps to prosecute those whose case may involve some criminality or fraud or abuse of office. That is the portion or the side of it which has so far not yet gain enough support. Maybe Attorney General is doing something about that, but I've not yet heard what has been done so far. Even though I remember Section 85 of the PFM Act also requires that the Attorney General on an annual basis should produce a report to Parliament with a copy to me showing how many people are being prosecuted based upon the audit findings and recommendations of Parliament. I'm yet to see one of that. So that leg, if it comes in, I think will bring a lot of deterrence to people who would like to misapply or misuse public funds.
Have you made a request? Has she explained to you why she hasn't given you any of these reports?
I actually wrote her to say I've not seen a copy of my report.
And what did she say?
There was no response.
When did you write this letter?
I don't remember exactly, but it's about 6 months or more when I wrote her to say that in accordance with Section 85 of the PFM Act, we are supposed to see a report on annual basis showing us what actions have been taken. If you don't mind, I can just read exactly what the law says. I have it here. Under Section 85, Section 85, it says, Section 85, subsection 2, subsection 2, it says the Attorney General shall, on an annual basis, submit a report on the status of any action commenced on behalf of the government to the Minister, the Auditor General, and Parliament, following findings of the Auditor General and recommendations of Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. So it's a legal imperative on the Attorney General to let us know what she has done so far on our behalf.
Interesting, and I guess that's a question that we need to take to the Attorney General. But here's a question for you. The Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, has launched a full-scale investigations into alleged procurement in your office.
Yes.
You know of this?
Yes. I've said time and again, and I'll repeat it this morning, that once you fight corruption, corruption will fight you back. And it will fight you in any way that it can, justifiably or unjustifiably. I'm aware of this, and I think you might have heard that last year, Daily Guide was at the forefront of trying to tarnish my reputation. Even they said they were going to strip me naked. And I think I still have my clothes on. I am not yet naked. And it was all because of procurement of some vehicles for the Ghana Audit Service. What happened is that in the course of the procurement, well, under the Procurement Act, which also I have over here, you see that the person who chairs the Entity Tender Committee for constitutionally independent institutions is the head of administration, not the head of entity.
Okay.
So my deputy in charge of administration chairs that.
Okay.
So in the course of the procurement, when the vehicles had been procured, I'd wanted to find out whether everything has been done according to the books, according to the law. Then I discovered that they didn't go for concurrent approval. I said, my guys, why did you not go for concurrent approval? Because that procurement is above the threshold for our entity tender committee. So I asked them to go for the public, the concurrent approval. They wrote a letter to the Central Tender Review Committee explaining that we have skipped a process, but we want your approval. And they did give us approval. They wrote saying that after looking at what you have done, we have given you approval. But then the issue came out. I remember even my board chairman, he was at the forefront of saying that I have misprocured. And I have him on record. He was speaking to Captain Smart. Sorry, not Planet, sorry. Captain Smart. He was speaking to Captain Smart where he said that I have violated the law. So I said, no, there is no violation over here. I think that we didn't go for concurrent approval and we had gone for it. So once we have gone for it, I think the mischief has been cured. But it went until I had a discussion with the then chief executive of PPA, Mr. A.B. Ajay. And he said, from his point of view, we should have come for ratification instead of going for the concurrent approval. But I said, Section 90 of the Public Procurement Act, under which you can ratify, your right to ratification accrues only when you have done investigation. You cannot just get up and ratify because it is as a result of an investigation report. So he said, okay, then Daniel, if that is not a problem, we can come and investigate and see whether things were done right. I allowed it. So PPA came and did their investigation. When they came to do their investigation, they, at the end, wrote a report. Very interesting. Anyone who has a copy of that report, page 8 of the report, they made recommendation to Audit Service to apply for ratification. The Public Procurement Board team that came to do the audit report, the investigation, recommended that Ghana Audit Service should apply to PPA Board for ratification. Then we applied for the ratification. Say, okay, give us the ratification. Then the board writes to say, no, the right to ratify is at the discretion of the board. It's not for you to request for it. So the reason why we will not give you is because you have asked for it. In fact, if I knew this was going to come, I would have come with their letter. They gave the reason. They said the reason why we will not give it is that it is not a right that an auditee or an someone being investigated should ask for, but it is at our discretion. We have to give you that lesson. And so, what kind of logic is this? You send a team to come and do an investigation. They finish and they say, apply for ratification. I apply for the ratification. They say, because you've applied for ratification, I'm not going to give you. Even though they said they were not going to ratify, interestingly, they went ahead and said that, not just said, they directed that Audit Service should take immediate steps to pay for the cars. They directed, listen to me, I didn't say that they advise us or they urge us. They directed that we should take immediate steps to pay for the car. In financial management and in law, in substance, they have ratified, from my point of view. Because under Section 90 of the Public Procurement Act, they have the right to cancel the whole procurement process. That is one. Mm-hmm. 2, they can nullify the contract. That is 2. 3, they can ratify. 4, they can give any instructions that is necessary. Mm-hmm. So if you nullify the contract, it can be paid for, isn't it?
Yes. It
if you cancel the whole process, it can be paid for. Is that not it?
No, it can't.
So if you say pay for it, it means that you have accepted it. So any infraction therein have been ratified from my point of view by PPA. So Yoko should go to PPA and find out why did they ratify it. I don't see why they are on the back of my staff. For the past 2 or 3 weeks, they've invited my deputies and several officers. I think it's one of the intimidating principles or approaches being used. But then I want to assure them that they can come and jail me. We will not stop doing what we are doing. I've said it time and again that I don't fear any attack on my office. And I'm not alone anyway. Let me share with you for you to know that it is usually the fate of auditors general. I have a cartoon from the Auditor General in Kenya where he's sitting on his seat and people are cutting so to remove him, and they say they can't figure out how to do this. I have several other examples where I don't want to mention the name of this, but the president has almost put a ban on the Auditor General because the Auditor General is exposing him too much.
In another African country.
Another African country. So it is all over. The independence of the Auditor General is being attacked everywhere because of corruption. We don't want to do the right thing. We don't, in fact, people say that the Auditor General is exposing government. I don't expose government. You do the wrong thing. If you do the right thing, how can I come here and say, Daniel Dazi, you have misapplied public funds? I can't just say that. I have evidence to show it. And mind you, in the course of our audit, we raise these observations to you and give you time to respond. We issue a management letter after the audit and ask you to respond. All this go through, and then at the end of the day, the one who stands accused is the one who is just doing his work.
Interesting. So have you been invited by Yoko?
No, they have not invited me.
So what are the consequences if you are found culpable?
Who is found culpable? The Audit Service or me? I was not part of the procurement process.
So this does not touch you
personally? I know the one
anyway.
they are looking for is the Auditor General. They are not looking for any other person apart from the Auditor General. But they are doing all their best. But they realized that I was not part of the process. Because like I said earlier on, the chairman of the Entity Tender Committee for independent constitutional bodies, according to the Procurement Act, is the head of administration, not the head of entity.
But you noticed this?
Yes.
The fact that they didn't go for...
Yes.
In hindsight,
yes.
Is there anything differently you would have done or you would have done?
No, there's nothing different I can do because I'm not God. Any institution at all, including the office of the president and the parliament, etc., they all violate the law. But when there is an infraction, what you do is to what? Remedy it. And I think that is what I did. So when it came to my notice that there is an infraction, I immediately said, look, let's do the correct thing. First, by going for the concurrent approval, which later on I was told by PPA chairman, chief executive, that no, that is maybe not the right thing to do, come for ratification. Then we allow the investigation and it is ratified. So I don't know what Yoko is looking for. Maybe at the end of the day, they will tell Ghanaians that Daniel Domelevo has stolen 1 million or 2 million cedis. I'm waiting for that. They should come out to show how I use my office to profit myself. That will never, ever happen.
You know one way that we would know if you use your office to profit yourself?
Yeah.
Declaration of assets.
Exactly.
Yes. But you said that you would ensure that this declaration of assets is done. How many have been done so far by ministers and public servants?
A lot of them have declared the assets. Let me say that the first people to show this example was the president and the vice president, and then it was followed by ministers and members of parliament. It's a long list, but several have still not yet disclosed their assets. And as audit question number 1 for 2019 audit, any institution we are going to audit, the first question I've asked my staff to ask is, have you declared your assets? Because from my point of view, it means you are occupying the office unconstitutionally. The Constitution provides that before you occupy the office, declare your assets and liabilities. Please, let's not limit it to assets. So many times we talk about assets. Assets are not dangerous. Liabilities are more dangerous. Can I explain?
Please.
Before assuming public office, especially if you are a political office holder, to win the election as an MP or as a president or whatever position it is, you might have incurred a lot of debt. You might have borrowed a lot of money. People will tell you how expensive it is to come into office. So if the guy or the gentleman is owing 100 million, and within 6 months, he pays off the 100 million cedis, you'll still be wearing one shirt. So you will not see that the guy has done anything. But if he spend 100 million cedis to buy assets, we will see it all over. You see the type of car he's driving, the house he's staying in, etc. So assets are not as dangerous as liabilities. Public office holders are able to reduce or liquidate their liabilities, and you may not even see that anything has happened. That's why the law does not talk about assets. People emphasize only assets. It's assets and liabilities declaration.
It's a key point you raised, but like you said earlier, and not this morning, but when are you going to withdraw the salaries of those who fail to comply?
Withdraw their salaries. That is not a provision in law. According to Article 287 of the Constitution, who violate the asset declaration is supposed to be reported to charge Commissioner for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. So that is what we are doing now. Anytime we come to audit you and you have not declared your assets and liabilities, we write to the commissioner to inform that these people have not declared their assets. And when we start the annual audit of 2019, it's going to be fireworks. Everywhere we go and you have not declared your assets and liabilities. And you see, when we say this, people quickly look at political office holders. Almost all public office holders or the rank of director or whose salary is equal to director are supposed to also declare. Even companies in which government has controlling interests. The art is very broad. They are all supposed to declare. And interestingly, one friend of mine came to me, was very happy about this asset declaration until I asked him, have you declared yourself? He said, no, me, I'm in a company. I said, but your company belongs to government. Is that not it? He said, yes. I said, are we too part of it? I said, yes. And he said, no, this law is too broad. So accountability is for other people. When it comes to us, you like to be confidential.
Interesting points there, but there should be an electronic process which should make it very easy for persons to declare their assets. Is that electronic process complete?
It's not complete. Actually, we started to develop a software with which we can allow people to do electronic declaration. This is an in-house software. My IT teams, my IT staff started putting it together. They finished developing it. And I asked the World Bank to come and do quality assurance. Because remember, these are people data. If you put it on there and people can hack into it and display it everywhere, it is not right. So I asked the quality assurance unit of the World Bank to come in and do quality assurance for me. They did the quality assurance and they raised a few issues. And those issues are being addressed. After they have addressed it, in fact, the team informed me last week that they have addressed the issues. I'm inviting the World Bank to come again and have a second look at it and tell me that, yes, the issues have been addressed, and if people's data go in there, it's safe before we can use the online. But in the meantime, we have the forms, which is the manual declaration. So that cannot be a reason why someone did not declare his assets and liabilities.
It's exactly 8:30. You're live on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Our guest this morning is Daniel Domelevo. I want to tell you quickly about the Barclays Ultimate account.
Well, so again, Daniel Domelevo, the Auditor General, speaking to Daniel Dadze on the related issues about the declaration of assets and how it looks like for public office holders, for us ordinary members of the public, we think it is for them to keep declaring the assets. But also he made an instructive related issues about how sometimes the liabilities of the person who is about to occupy the public office is even something that we need to take a critical look at. And Kojo, it looks like he knew what he was talking about.
Indeed.
He said liabilities are even more dangerous than assets.
Yes, and he gave that great explanation.
Exactly.
That, someone can come into office with a massive liability of $10 million, and he will still be wearing one shirt, but he will pay off $10 million by, abusing his office, and people will never know. But as for assets, if you are building houses, people will see. I'll tell you what I found interesting about what he was sharing, and that was his ongoing battle with the Daily Guide. Now, I suddenly drew some quick connections in my head, and you know me, I like to ask questions. So Daniel Domelevo, as we know, was in an ongoing back and forth with the Daily Guide. But before that, let's do this when we come back, because I understand that we can go back to the conversation right now, and then we'll do the connections later.
Okay.
And mind you, under session, again, people accuse me of putting information in the public domain. According to Section 23 of the Audit Service Act, immediately I hand over my audit report to the Speaker, I'm supposed to publish it to the Ghanaians. Why is this so? A gentleman who was explaining this in one of our conferences recently, last week in Cape Coast, said, why the laws have to allow auditors general to, I say auditors general, when it's plural, it's auditors general, not auditor generals.
Like mothers-in-law.
Okay, mothers-in-law, good. He said, why the law has to allow auditors general to give information to the public is that if they don't do that, then they are reporting robbery to the robber or burglary to the burglar.
Okay.
Is it the same people who are infringing or violating or causing the infractions are the people you are reporting to? So that is why my colleague over here, my public relations officer, issues a press release anytime a report is published.
Okay.
I would also like to say that, again, in accordance with Regulation 55 of the Audit Service Regulation, which is CI 70, we are supposed to get information from the public, which we should follow up. In case
I'll let you finish this point, but let me open the phone line so that as you wrap up, the phone line starts coming in. 0302 216 541 0302 216 541 0244 340 437. Call, say hi to Sammy, he'll put you on air. So you were actually making an appeal to the public.
Yes, I'm making an appeal to say that they can give us information. And we have developed an application called Citizen Eye. If you go to Apple Store or you just Google Citizen Eye, that you can install that application. You can just go there and tell us the abuses of public funds, etc. People have done it marvelously, and we have followed up, and it's giving us a good result. So citizens can also participate. Fighting corruption is a collective responsibility. You can't leave it on the head of one person or one institution.
Okay, so I'm going on the Android Play Store right now. It's Citizens Eye, isn't
Citizens
it?
Eye.
So it comes with an S. Citizens Eye. Okay.
Yes.
Whilst I'm downloading it, let me pick Kwame's phone call from McCarthy Hill. Good morning, Kwame.
Good morning, and bravo, Auditor General.
Yeah,
it is only thieves who fear snare set up for them. You see, this is, to me, in my 55 years of existence, this is the best Auditor General Ghana has ever produced. And you see, I love his bravado. You see, he dare challenge Safo Mafo. And you see, I just want bravo, Auditor General. You are doing a fantastic job.
We get this. Thank you very much, Kwame, for calling us from McCarthy Hill. Daryl is on the line from Accra. Good morning, Daryl.
Hello, good morning, Daniel.
Great, let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you to the Auditor General for the work he's doing. It's just unfortunate that when the Auditor General himself is found with infractions, he comes on air to try and explain reasons why he thinks that he should not be caught by the law. While he's doing the good work, he must also be watching his back. And I think that on this particular matter of the procurement issue that he talked about, he did not go according to law, and he should not just come and sit down here and explain to us why he thinks that he did not do the right thing. We should go through the process, and if he's found not to have done the right thing, the law must deal with him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daryl from Accra.
Well, of course, that conversation with the Auditor General continues on radio. They've got to the point where the public are now interacting with them. But I'll tell you what, we've got some interactions of our own.